Hello, 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 hello. It's now a year since I started this channel. Yeah, I haven't got any prettier. A Netflix special is some way off in the sense of you couldn't see it with the largest telescope in the entire world. Some way off. Yeah, I haven't gone viral. Did I ever expect to be? No, this isn't the kind of channel that goes viral. This is mine. I started it essentially as to having a record of things that I've cooked because I'm a terribly emotional cook where on the day I will change something slightly as to the mood of the day. And lots of people ask me for recipes of what I've cooked and I would sit there staring into space thinking, yeah, go on, what was it again? So yeah, this channel has been what I intended it to be, is a record of my cooking. I am, however, very grateful for anybody that has stuck around and followed this channel for this year. I really do appreciate you showing up and yeah, some videos are more popular than others, obviously. Depends on the ingredient, depends on what somebody's read that day or whatever. So, the first year ends and the second year starts. So what do we begin with? Aloo Gobi Matar. It's an Indian dish. Aloo Gobi is probably most known to people as a potato and cauliflower curry. My wife likes it with peas added. So this is what we're going to be doing today. A lot of variations of this dish from all over the place, so it's hard to say what is traditional, although ginger and tomatoes do seem to be in a lot of them. I'm not using ginger and tomatoes in this one. It's bloody gorgeous on its own. I didn't feel a need for ginger and tomatoes. Anyway, let's just get on with it. And what is on today's board of goodness? We begin with potatoes. 3 or 4 medium-sized potatoes. I think I've got 4 different sizes there. A head of cauliflower, medium-sized. An onion. Some salt, obviously. A pinch of Asafoetida. I'm going to have to find out how to say that. Asafoetida. Anyway, a chilli. Most of the chilli, anyway, about half of that. 2/3 of a teaspoon of fenugreek. 2/3 of ground coriander. 2/3 again of a teaspoon of turmeric. 2/3 again of a teaspoon of cumin seeds. 1 teaspoon of garam masala. That's a sort of fairly coarse ground garam masala. A good handful of peas, and yes, I forgot to video the garlic. Off we go. Well, I think I might start a new category on my cooking channel. Stuff which doesn't begin with an onion. I think it might be a small list to start with. Anyway, we start with an onion. You've got to fry this as dark as you can or you can manage, because the darker it gets, the deeper the flavour, the better the dish. Get your chopped up chilli in there, and a couple of minutes later you can see where we're going with the darkness of the onions. Just keep splashing a little bit of water in every so often and fry on a fairly high heat. Splash of water, high heat, splash of water. I've chosen to use a garlic press for this dish. Most of the time I chop up the garlic, but this one, because it's a fairly quick dish, I've decided to crush the garlic. The garlic allows the garlic to cook much quicker. This is my new garlic press. Da, da, da. Stir it away, stir it away, stir it away. And next, with the spices. So this is another few minutes later. The onions have got a little bit darker, starting to turn into a paste, and we're going in with our 2/3 of a teaspoon of turmeric, 2/3 teaspoon of cumin. In this particular instance, cumin seeds. I slightly prefer the seeds over the powder. Coriander powder. You can use seeds and then grind them if you want to. What's next? Fenugreek. 2/3 of a teaspoon of that. Dun, dun, dun. And the next is Asafoetida. Asafoetida. Yes. Really interesting spice this is. It's really good in vegetarian cooking. Apparently it gives a sort of comforting oniony garlic flavour to the food. Certainly adds something to this dish anyway, even with just a little pinch. So, on we go. So add some salt. So I'm only going to put a little bit of salt in at this point, probably about a teaspoon of salt, because what you'll need to do as you're cooking this is check for the salt content as to how you want to eat it. I added about a teaspoon at this point and then added a little later as it was simmering. So what we're going to do now is add some water to the pan, because we're going to be creating that sort of oniony, curry, spicy soup. Simmer for just a few seconds, keep stirring, make sure this is on probably about half heat, and we're going to go in with the potatoes next. So potatoes, don't do them too big, too large for this dish. What you want is oblongy, roughly about a centimetre one way and a centimetre and a half the other way for this, because what you don't want to be doing is spending a very, very long time waiting for your potatoes to cook. The smaller you can cut them, the quicker they're going to cook, obviously. But don't cook them too small because they'll melt. So, like I say, centimetre one way, centimetre and a half the other way, and stir in, and they're going to be cooking for probably about 10 minutes, I reckon. That's what potatoes look like after 10 minutes. They're starting to gain the colour and the spice, and now we're going to go in with the cauliflower. Potatoes first, cauliflower second, always. Cauliflower is easier to cook. It doesn't take quite so long to cook. So keep stirring your cauliflower, get all the juices in there, and we're going to, let's have a look, we're going to lid on for this part of the dish. Slow the cooking right down into a sort of slow simmer, and that's probably going to be another, let's have a look, 10 minutes I reckon. Here we are, 10 minutes in. The lid on has meant that all of the liquid stays in the dish. We'll have to do something about that in a minute. So it's starting to cook. You can see the cauliflower starting to soften there and take on the spices and the juices that we're cooking it all in. So the full teaspoon of garam masala, just a sprinkle. I've gone with the garam masala powder now rather than the coarse garam masala I showed at the start of the video. And we're going to go in with a good healthy handful, a large handful of your frozen peas. Stir that all in. Make sure the garam masala is as stirred in as the peas. And we're going to lid back on for, let's have a think, probably another 5 minutes now. Again, very, very slow simmer with the 5 minutes at the back. At the end of the 5 minutes, everything should be on the way to cooked. We're not quite cooked. We've just got another stage left to go. So what we need to do is now start reducing the liquid. I say that because I prefer a slightly drier aloo gobi with my chapatis, my roti. But if you're going to do it with rice, you could probably leave some of that liquid in, because the liquid will then go into the rice and make the rice taste really nice, rather than just a dry aloo gobi sitting on top of the rice. So liquid rice, no liquid roti. And add some salt now as to your own personal taste. Oh, this all looks so good now. Have a little stir around. That's just about how I like it. The liquid is just reduced enough for chapati type eating. Oh, I love that. The smell at this point is incredible. Turn the heat off, put it to one side, and this is your final bit, your chapatis, your roti. Now this dish, this thing, this metal plate that you see before you on the left, is a thing called a tava. I think T-A-V-A or T-O-V-V-A is the English way of saying it. Essentially, it's just a metal plate that you put on top of your gas at about 3/4 to full high heat. It's really blooming hot, but it's the best way of cooking your chapatis. If you if you're not very good at burning your fingers, then get some of those pincers and flip the chapati over. But this is just the best way of warming it up. It makes it really nice and soft, and just yummy. And sometimes if the chapati out of the packet's not quite cooked enough, you'll see little bubbles of air appearing in the chapati as you cook it. Don't overcook. The chapati's got to be soft. It's got to be pretty much, just you cook it until it's warmed up and all the molecules have made it lovely and warm and soft and fluffy. And then pour yourself a big dollop into a dish, get your chapatis in there and chomp chomp chomp. This is such a simple dish, but so absolutely lovely. You'd think just potatoes and cauliflower would be quite boring. It's not. This is one of my favourite dishes, and vegan is a very vegan thing, so enjoy, dig in, keep checking for salt all the way through. This is the main thing. Potatoes sometimes can eat salt. Keep checking for salt all the way in, and that's it, done. It doesn't take very long. Enjoy. Thank you for watching once again. Like and subscribe once again. Onwards to the next one once again. Take care. Bye bye.